Oh, we're bringing back all these legacy characters. Nemesis is going to be there. Valentine, Leon. Who's the other person? The Spencer, not Spencer. Well, who's that? Albert Wesker's son's going to be there. Everyone's going to be in this game.
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil Requiem is approaching quicker than that zombie behind you. Watch out. Did I get you? Come on, comment below if I got you. Oh, got myself. Why not behind me? Anyway, Resident Evil is fastly approaching. It's coming out soon. We're getting more information by the day. And I'm kind of excited. But I'm asking the question, should we be worried about it? So let's mumble about it and like and subscribe for future mumbles.
Resident Evil.
If you don't know yet, I like stories in games. It's the reason I get up out of bed in the morning. I have a whole video trying to dive into what the story of this game will be. I think I might have caused myself a little problem. I think possibly I have made this story bigger than it could be. I made a whole video about this kind of story and the possibilities of what it could be, because as soon as I saw Leon and the Raccoon City kind of, what's the word, ruins, I was kind of like, oh, we're bringing back all these legacy characters. Nemesis is going to be there. Valentine, Leon. Who's the other person? The Spencer, not Spencer. Well, who's that? Albert Wesker's son's going to be there. Everyone's going to be in this game. That's kind of like my reaction. Everyone's returning. It's going to be a legacy game. And I think I have kind of made myself worried about this game's story. I know, okay, a lot of you are probably watching thinking, how does he have a problem with this story? It's all there in front of us. It looks really interesting, with the hospital, Victor, and the returning Leon, Grace being a technically legacy character of her. All this though to me has got me thinking that this will be bigger than a house in the woods or a village. But what if it is kind of just a city and a hospital with no actual other elements? As it's starting to feel like the story will be much more self-contained than I thought, and that has kind of fueled my excitement for this game slightly through the whole thing, even though it has been my fault that I'm slightly starting to worry about it, because my excitement has been diminished by more information. So in this kind of world, what I thought was going to be bigger in this game, what probably won't be. When we're talking about story though, I do think the story will be exciting. Do I think it will be smaller than I originally thought? Yes, because when I look at the gameplay, it does feel very self-contained into these single kind of areas, this being the kind of hotel and the hospital. But maybe, just maybe, I'm doing it again. Basically, I am making this story bigger than it probably will be, okay? Most of the gameplay will be kind of simple. The story will probably be quite simple, but the complicated kind of backstory will probably be through notes. And I don't want to go in thinking that. I want to be kind of underhyped for the story and then possibly be surprised. I just need one thing, okay? I just need one thing. I need the FBI boss to be somehow being controlled to make Grace go on this mission. That's the only thing I really need. Another thing, what is kind of worrying, but kind of not a worry, but could be a possible worry is
Resident Evil 2.
Okay, this one might be a bit weird, but we're returning back to zombies again. And don't get me wrong, I love zombies. I love walking with them, I love shooting them, I love playing as them, I love watching a series about them solving crime. I'm still finding a good book, comment below any zombie books below. But I really liked the Village's take on this supernatural stuff. And going back to zombies does feel a bit... Alright. Resident Evil, to its respect, has never really stepped away from the zombie element. Really, every time they release a new game, they release a fresh new remake alongside it, so it's technically never stepped away. But when I look at Resident Evil Requiem, we are full-blown Z to the T going back to zombies here. And weirdly, I don't really want to, and that feels weird saying about a Resident Evil game that I don't want zombies, but the Village felt so different. We had big teeth ladies, swamp people, zombies, werewolf, even a Magneto for some reason. That all sort of leads to this kind of witch boss at the end. It felt special, and it was a massive step in a different direction for Resident Evil. So it feels worrying for me that we're going back to zombies again, even though they're slightly smaller. And personally, I was much more excited to explore what the possibilities of this were, diving more into these mythical kind of beings instead of kind of going back to the status quo. What has me kind of disappointed and worried, not just for this game but also kind of the future of Resident Evil, thinking about it. Okay, I just want more werewolves and vampires in games. Can you remember a game kind of like first person or Actually, they did release that one. Can you remember a good game with vampires and werewolves in it? What is an MMO? MMO? That was a quite good one, but it was top down, it was survival. I don't want to play a vampire survival game. I want to be the horror or run away from the horror. I want vampires and werewolves to be the horror. I really like Village, and they're just taking all of it away from me as soon as I liked it. I just think they're scratching at the surface at what they can do with that kind of supernatural stuff. I'm excited for zombies kind of, but I just want more supernatural stuff. On the other hand though, we do have these new kind of zombies in Resident Evil what are much smarter and have their kind of past lives embedded into their zombie deaths, I suppose. What gives you kind of like Day of the Dead kind of vibes. I think that's the right film. When zombies have this kind of mind to them, this kind of, not hierarchy, the hierarchy is always kind of shit. But when they have this kind of logic in their brain to some elements, it's always more interesting to me, and it can be a lot more scarier. Another positive as well along this side of going back to zombies, this is kind of the first time we're going to see a kind of first person Resident Evil, this new era of Resident Evil with zombies in it. So it makes a lot of sense that this will be the focus. As actually when you do think about it, in a core game we haven't fought zombies since the dark days of Resident Evil 6. I don't think it was that bad, but I haven't played it fully. As we are currently in this new era of Resident Evil storytelling. With that in mind though,
Resident Evil 3.
I'm happy Leon is back, okay? Don't get me wrong. I love playing Resident Evil kind of legacy characters. It's fun. We've done it. We haven't done it that much. It's fun. Going back to the remakes was fun. Playing the DLC was fun. It's all fun. It does really feel different from playing all these wusses we have played through 7 and 8, right? Because who wants to play in a horror game with a character that's scared of everything? That doesn't make sense. With that in mind, the mix of the gameplay does give me some neckache. Whiplash. Yeah, whiplash, headache, neckache. Get it like the title? Yes, I've read all the previews. I've read the kind of interview with the developer saying he wants... Did he say something about good sushi mix of stuff or something like that? Could feel this way. We could feel like we are jumping between Resident Evil 4 and 7. Like Leon is kind of your safe space when you play through the game, and Grace is kind of your nightmare. That really could feel great, but it also could feel slightly whiplashy and slightly forced just so we can play as Leon, as Leon's not going first person because that character was part of literally revolutionizing the whole third person stuff. I would argue maybe that they should have done like a 2 playthrough thing, like kind of think it was Resident Evil 2 that did that, and kind of you play as Grace's story and then you play as Leon's story. I think that would work better maybe, or make 2 games. It's just the pacing to me what is kind of getting me worried, because you do see them kind of cross paths with a gate in between them. That's very Resident Evil-ish, isn't it? That kind of, we can see you but we can't get to you yet. And I've saw it 1,000 times and it always does feel a bit odd in pacing wise to me, no matter where it is. It's like when you're eating something really sweet but it really has a sour note as well. You kind of just want that sour bit a bit more. That's actually a kind of bad example. It's like, you know, when you have something sweet and then you drink your coffee, it doesn't taste right. Or when you have something spicy and then something fizzy and it kind of hurts your tongue slightly. I can't think of any more examples. I think I'm thirsty. Yeah, I think I'm thirsty. Anyway, another worry that might only be for wusses like me.
Resident Evil 4.
This game looks horrifying. From the environment to the design of the gameplay, mostly through Grace, looks generally nightmarish. I know the reason you play a horror game is to get scared. I get that. I get you. I get that. But I have to play this at night. There's not enough light to play this game in time for a review, and I want to review it. I went through Resident Evil 8 kind of easily. It felt tame. Even the baby didn't do much. Didn't really scare me that much, the baby. It was kind of overwhelmed. Not overwhelmed. It was kind of overhyped as a scary bit. But Village was okay for scariness. The most scared I think I did get was when the vampires, like underlings, were in the below bit of the castle. But all this kind of stuff feels like Resident Evil 7, what I kind of refused to fully play through, because I tried it and I ended up like this. There is one thing within the fear of this horror game what does kind of make me, I don't know, double think the scariness. What suppose is an actual worry that this game won't be scary, as I'm expecting a scary game. But currently my really fear is that the big beasties aren't like 7 and are more just kind of like 8 when you just kind of run away and shoot. I don't know. They look gnarly, but they're not that scary yet. I think it could massively change as when we go into first person, when you see them coming at you like fastly, and it could get scarier then. But currently I am looking at these beasties and it's just a mishmash of meat and bigness and skin. It's like, oh, is that all you've got kind of thing. It's not really that original. What is freaking me out is the zombies. What is really surprising, because we've gone up against zombies so many times, the eeriness of these zombies, of the past selves, is such a good element that could revive the fear of zombies in this game rather than just shooting hordes of them down. And I do think the remakes have kind of added to the fear of zombies, because I remember playing Resident Evil 2's remake and the zombies in that were really good, and the fact they can't be killed. I don't know how, will they do that? No, because you get the blood. Ah, they won't do that, will they? That's actually a shame. The zombies look like they're going to actually be able to be killed rather than downed and then really difficult to kill, and then they come back worse later on. It just adds that extra bit of scariness, like the simpleness of a butcher. The butcher zombie just hatching away. It's so good and so simple. It gives that kind of ghost vibe to the zombies, and that does seem very exciting and very scary. What I generally don't know if I could handle this game, and I need to handle it because the plan, my schedule, is to review it. But the zombies and the enemies when you play as Grace look more nightmarish than most of the monsters, like the big ass mushed up together of skin monsters. They don't look as scary as the past. Like some of the stuff basically in Resident Evil 7 was probably the scariest stuff they've had in the game, because even 8 didn't have that much scariness in it. The baby didn't really do much for me. It's just mushed up together meat mess. And that's a lot of the monsters in this game. I'm hopefully thinking something scarier down the line. I need that kind of simpleness to some of the elements, but also has the fear in it. And the zombies, all the zombies kind of have that, just that butcher. The butcher thing, the butcher nightmare kind of horror thing is kind of in a lot of things, but it works so well. Do I think a lot of kind of elements in this game will give me that poopy feeling? Yes. But do these mushed up piles of meat kind of scare me? Not really. If I met him in real life, maybe. Maybe it will be different in first person, but I'm looking at him thinking, it's a bit basic, really, when I think about it. But that is more of a mid-worry. I don't think it would ruin my experience, really. But I do think if the monsters aren't as scary as the smaller guys, I think you've gone a bit wrong somewhere. A little bit. Like a mid-worry. Like a little bit of worry. Not a full worry.
Resident Evil 5.
Okay, after my kind of outburst about the story, about the Resident Evil Requiem story, I need to look at it with a simpler look, not like I've spent hours on hours overanalyzing the story and linking it to different things I kind of like in the franchise. I want to look at it at a plain 3 trailers and a short film. If I'm looking at this story infection spreading kind of thing, where I'm looking at the core base, when I'm looking at the trailers, I'm not looking into it, I'm just looking at the trailers, and that's what I think. We're going back to Raccoon City, your origin of the zombie apocalypse type thing. The Destination Z of Resident Evil. Even though, yes, Spencer Mansion is a thing, but it hasn't really remade, and it still feels a bit odd playing in comparison, and it hasn't really cemented in my mind, and Resident Evil 2 has. But story-wise, we're going back to the original zombie destination. Seeing these different zombies, creating maybe a different disaster, with a legacy daughter, what's also called Hope, and this weird mystery thing, and then the return of Leon feels very special. A true moment in Resident Evil lore. It feels like we're going home to a franchise. And it feels like a big deal, a general escalation from a house to a village to a city, and that is really exciting. And then we don't know what we're going to see. It just feels like there's be so much kind of hidden in this game. Like, Village had stuff hidden in it. They had these stories in them what expanded a lot through as you play them, and it feels like Requiem is going to go bigger. So it's not me thinking that this is just like out the blue. They've added so much mystery into this trailer and it's made me think of it. I am not going crazy, okay? I have thought about all different stuff because they have planted seeds in their trailers and the short films and stuff like that to make me think, is he coming back? Is that happening? What's happening over there? We don't know. We are getting the return of Raccoon City, the return of Leon, who hasn't been in a main game for so long. Even Chris Redfield and all that crap has been on it for a while. Did we play as him? Did we play first person Chris Redfield for a little bit, did we, in Resident Evil 7? We haven't really had a bad story in Resident Evil for so long, so I would be kind of surprised that this would be a bad story. Also, if it is, I'm kind of blaming them for hyping it up too much, personally, okay? It's just me, personally. Before we wrap up though, we have to talk about the design. Look at it. Doesn't it look beautiful? I don't know what it's going to be. What's it going to be? I can't think of... That's it.
Resident Evil 6.
When you look back at Resident Evil games, sometimes it does feel like you are missing the kind of horror element to it. Like you're watching a comedy without finding anything funny. Like watching Seinfeld and you're from the UK. Don't get it. Friends is funny. This is cringy. I think I don't like him. In more recent Resident Evil games, they've obviously revived this, going first person, adding horror. Resident Evil 7 is still so horrifying to me. It's just downright scary now. The details around the area here put you in what looks like a simple location. But when you look at the environment, I don't want to be there. It's the atmosphere about how many of these areas are just scary. Again, I do think we are going backwards rather than forwards in the franchise currently. Rather than pushing forward, we are going back a bit. But I do understand in this new style, you want to kind of use this new style in what made you Resident Evil. As we have been kind of seeping into this old school kind of feeling of the games. We had the remakes and all the old stuff. We play them all, so we kind of want to see what this is going to be like here. As we haven't had the fear from the past two games in an old style. These two things added together could be something special, even though I would argue that Leon didn't really be needed, because I just want zombies in first person, what is going to be horrifying like the two old games. Even though I would rather it feel like it was two completely different games, maybe releasing within 2 years, or something along them lines. Make them smaller, make them cheaper, make them release separate, I don't know, but that's just what I think. Going to a hospital, going to a hotel, what should be simple things. Actually, I hate going to hospitals, so maybe that's another thing what's adding the fear to me, because I hate hospitals so much, and this is a horror game set in one. Anyway, everything together is looking very, very special. And there's so many different elements, what looks special, what look exciting, and then there's some small nagging things there, what I think, why have we gone down this route, really? But hopefully it's going to be more explained in the game. But what do you think? Are you worried about Resident Evil Requiem? Are you excited? Personally, I think I am leaning towards the excitement kind of thing, but if the worries come true, I do think other elements will kind of smack them worries away. So either way, we're kind of in a good grace. We are in a good grace of Resident Evil. We've had so many good games, so many good remakes. Resident Evil 4 remake was good, surprisingly. And then Resident Evil 7, the other remakes, I think Resident Evil 3 is the only kind of bad thing what kind of happened, because that was kind of weirdly short and not really good. But apart from that, we have had some good Resident Evil shit, really. And it feels like this might be good as well. But what do you think? Comment below your thoughts, like and subscribe for future mumbles, and join the babbling horde. And I will see you on the next mumble.